Welcome back to Canada's Blonde Moment.
What is the fifth planet from the sun? It is big. It is made of gas. It is Jupiter. Look. So, guys, this is my mommy, and your.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Canada's Blonde Moment. You guys, today we're covering one of the most heartbreaking and shocking cases in recent history, the Treadmill abuse murder trial of Christopher Gregor. This is a case that left the nation outraged and ultimately led to Gregor's conviction for the death of his 6-year-old son, Corey Micciolo. We're going to take you through who Corey was, his parents' history, how Gregor came into the picture, the disturbing abuse allegations, the details of his trial, and the latest sentencing updates. So buckle in because this is not only a deep, but it's also a very emotional case. Now, Corey Micciolo was a bright, playful little boy who should have had his whole life ahead of him. He lived with his mother, Brianna Micciolo, for most of his young life. But, you guys, the family situation was far from stable. His father, Christopher Gregor, came into the picture in 2020 after obtaining custody of Corey, a move that would ultimately lead to devastating consequences. Corey's life with his father was described as a nightmare. Gregor, obsessed with fitness, reportedly thought his son was overweight and made him exercise excessively. But the true horror would unfold in 2021 when surveillance footage captured Corey being repeatedly forced to run on a treadmill at an increasingly dangerous speed while Gregor watched. Corey repeatedly fell, hit his head, and struggled to keep up each time Gregor forced him back on. Little did he know the abuse would lead to Corey's death just 1 month later. Now, before Corey's death, his mother, Brianna, had struggled with drug addiction. Due to these issues, Gregor was able to gain custody of Corey in 2020. However, both sides of Corey's family, Gregor's and Micciolo's, filed a staggering 14 child abuse reports against each other, accusing both parents of harmful behavior. Despite these warnings, Corey remained under Gregor's care. Authorities and Child Protective Services failed to intervene in time. On April 2nd, 2021, Gregor rushed Corey to Southern Ocean Medical Center, but by then, you guys, it was too late. The 6-year-old had suffered extensive internal injuries, including blunt force trauma. Initially, Gregor claimed Corey had simply collapsed, but an autopsy painted a much darker picture. The medical examiner determined Corey had suffered blunt force trauma, liver damage, and severe internal bleeding. Gregor's story didn't add up. Gregor wasn't immediately arrested, but as investigators pieced together the evidence, including the disturbing treadmill footage, authorities finally issued a warrant for his arrest. However, guys, Gregor attempted to flee. He was pulled over in Tennessee in 2021 while trying to leave New Jersey. At the time, he was caught with drugs in his system, further adding to the case against him. After being extradited back to New Jersey, Gregor was charged with child endangerment, aggravated manslaughter, and later on, murder. Now, the trial began in April 2024, and it was highly publicized, with Court TV providing in-depth coverage. Prosecutors detailed the extreme abuse Corey suffered under Gregor's care. The defense, however, tried to argue that Corey's injuries were not solely Gregor's fault. But you guys, the evidence was damning. The treadmill footage showed Corey falling and struggling as Gregor forced him to continue. Medical experts confirmed Corey's injuries were consistent with prolonged abuse. Witnesses testified that Gregor frequently berated Corey about his weight, and a forensic pathologist ruled Corey's death a homicide. After 6 weeks, the jury reached its verdict. On May  31st, 2024, Christopher Gregor was found guilty of aggravated manslaughter and child endangerment. He was acquitted of murder, but faces up to 30 years in prison. His sentencing was scheduled for August 2nd, 2024, where the court officially sentenced him to 30 years behind bars. Ocean County Prosecutor Bradley Billamar said, Christopher Gregor must live the rest of his life with the knowledge that he, and he alone, was responsible for the death of his one and only son. Brianna Micciolo, Corey's mother, spoke during the sentencing, expressing her grief, anger, and devastation that Corey's cries for help went unheard. Justice has been served, but it came far too late for little Corey. You guys, this case has left a lasting impact on many, raising serious questions about child protective services and how so many reports of abuse were ignored. Corey Miccioli's death was preventable, and his story is a tragic reminder that children should always be heard and be believed. If you suspect a child is in danger, please speak up. Call Child Protective Services, report any signs of abuse, and don't stop until action is taken. Now, that wraps up today's episode. Thank you for listening to this deep and emotional dive into the Treadmill abuse murder trial. Now, if you found this episode informative, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. But let's keep Corey's story alive so that no child suffers the same fate. Until next time, stay safe and look out for those who can't protect themselves.
We are so glad you came. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye now. Bye. Bye-bye.
That was Canada's Blonde Moment, and I am out.